Stir fry lotus roots. Welcome to Cook Vegan. I'm Farah and I'm going to show you how to make this super quick and easy recipe. Here with me. So first of all, I'm going to put my wok on the stove. I've already got that heating up and I've got my sesame oil here. Now if you don't have any of these ingredients at home, don't worry, you can always adjust slightly. You're not going to get exactly the same flavor, but that's the joy of Cook Vegan and all the recipes I make, that you can be creative and fun and just make it work for you in whatever way possible. So I've put here just a tiny bit of oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Especially sesame oil can be quite heavy. If I do need more, I will add more later. So I'm going to get my spoon here ready. I have here about 2 spring onions cut. I also like cutting the ends of them. I find the green interesting. So I'm going to throw those in. I have 2 garlic cloves cut up as such. I'll show you small bits. And about a 2-inch stem of peeled and grated ginger. So those are really important recipes. Now for those of you who haven't cooked before with lotus roots, they're actually a stem. So I'll show you what they're looking like when you cut them up. They look like almost huge potatoes or mangoes. They're like the size of a mango, but they can actually grow up to like 4 feet. They can become really big, and together they almost look like huge sausages that are there. And they're the stem of the lotus flower that grow in really muddy rivers and ponds in Asia, and they're very, very popular in Asian, especially Chinese cuisine. And they look like this. They're really beautiful. So I cut these earlier. Now the plan was to run back from work, make this video in between after picking up the kids from school and then go back to work. But as usual, in busy real lives, it doesn't always work out as we planned. So rather than waste and let this just get all brown, I've actually put the lotus leaves in water so it stops it going off basically, or going changing colour and going brownish or blackish. But it is actually quite a good tip anyway for cooking. You can always put them in water with a bit of vinegar, and then it makes it a bit softer and a bit quicker to cook. Now lotus roots you can't eat raw, so they're stems as I said, but it is a bit like a root vegetable, so you can't have them raw, but they are incredibly quick to cook and they're also incredibly nutritious. So I know it's not that common in parts of the world like America or Europe, although I think they're becoming more and more readily available. In Asia obviously it's super common, but they're not the cheapest vegetable because they're quite labour intense to get out of the muddy waters, but they do go quite a long way, and they're full of potassium, zinc, different Bs, so I think B6, not B12, but B2, and zinc also really good now with cold season and this horrible pandemic upon us. Potassium, magnesium, so, and they're high in protein. They're good for people worried about cholesterol because they've got loads of good fibre in them, but they're low in saturated fat. So also good if you're worried about your blood sugar level and diabetes. It's also a good vegetable to have. So it's definitely something that's worth exploring, and they're very high in protein as well. So it's really, really just a great vegetable all round, and something that's very tasty and different. It's different from our usual. So I'm just mixing this around, so that's been on for probably less than a minute, and I'm going to add my carrot. Now it's good here to cut the carrots as thinly as possible so that they'll be done quicker, because as with a lot of things, for us busy people, we don't have loads of time to cook, and we do want to have that all done and tasty and have a meal ready quickly. And this is a great meal to have on its own, also with maybe some brown rice on the side, wild rice, noodles. Well, I'm just sticking that a bit. There we go. Now the carrots always need a bit longer, so I want those in for about definitely over a minute. I don't want this to start sticking to the pan, So you'd have two choices here now. You can either add a little bit more sesame oil, which I'm going to do. I try not to have too much oil in my cooking, but for this one, and I want to show you guys something with a real Asian flavour. So I'm just adding a little bit more, not a lot, about a tablespoon, so that will coat the ingredients nicely and cook. I do have vegetable stock right here ready, so if you are trying to avoid oil and don't want too much, you could add a little bit of vegetable stock. So I'm just stirring that around. Okay, and because I want to do this quickly and you see, I think I'll leave that. Although, as I said, you could leave that on for about 30 seconds more. Here I've got one quite large zucchini or courgettes. I've got the nice green ones. You could use your white ones as well if you prefer. And one bell pepper. So red bell pepper, you can use any colour you want. And of course, bell peppers are a really good source of vitamin C. So it's great to have in stir fries, and they help you absorb your iron as well. So really good food to have. So I'm just going to mix that around. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to get my strainer and I'm going to take out Lotus roots. Again, you could leave that on for another minute. I'm just going to add in these, and because they have been soaked, they won't take as long. Mind you saying that, they're super quick. This is a really quick vegetable to cook. I'm just going to stir that. Oh, throwing vegetable everywhere. And for those of you who haven't seen, this is delicious with brown rice. So it's a whole grain, it's yummy. I have another video on my YouTube channel, so you can see that is how I make brown rice, and it's delicious. So I'm just going to coat that in the oil and with the flavours and try not to throw everything out of the pan. Okay, so once that's done, that's enough. Now I'm going to add my, this is about 2/3 of a cup of vegetable stock. So I'm just going to pour that over like that, and then again mix that in, and then that won't take very long to start boiling, and then all the vegetables can be sauteed in this. There we go. And now I'm going to add the last bit of the ingredients. So just a little bit of black pepper. Again, this is to taste, so feel free to add as much or as little as you want. This isn't coming out at a great speed, so I look like I'm putting way more than I actually am. There we go. And I'll get a spoon out, although I'm not the queen of measuring. I do kind of do a lot of things as we go along. So I'm adding here, now this is maple agave, but you could use just maple. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this to give it that sweet flavour with the oil and the soya sauce. Now in themselves, to be honest, Lotus leaves do have, they're very well known for their sweetish taste. And soya sauce, I've got my delicious organic soya sauce here. Again, 2 tablespoons. Well, I love soya, so I'm going to let that spill over, maybe just over the 2. There we go. I love this Asian smells now with the spring onions and the soya and the maple. It's so good. So I'm just going to stir that, make sure everything is covered with this lovely flavour and smell, and then I'm just going to allow it to cook for again, it doesn't need too long. I'm going to give it probably 3 to 4 minutes covered, and then I'll show you in a second what that looks like. Okay, so this has been on for 4 minutes now. Just halfway through I gave it one little stir just to make sure all those flavors were really brewing inside. And you can see there's a nice amount of sauce here, not too much. We don't want it too watery. We're not making a soup, although there are some delicious recipes with lotus root soups, but this one is a stir fry. So it's soft. I'll turn that off. And I'll just show you very quickly for those of you who don't know this. So the smell is delicious. You can also be flexible and you can put in bok choy or Chinese cabbage and what else? Broccoli. So many different, any vegetables you like, bean sprouts. There's so many things. And I'm just going to, use this plate that I used earlier. So I'm going to put one here and I'm just going to cut that. You can see once you can cut it, it's not supposed to be super soft. You don't want it soggy. You just want to be able to cut it like that. And it really has this amazing texture. It almost tastes a cross between an apple, maybe a hard red apple, and a potato. But it has that very delicate, soft taste. It's got a slight sweetness to it, and it's really, really yummy, and you can almost taste that it's so full of protein and good for you. And it has that chunkiness that I would say a lot of vegans or flexitarians that are looking for something a bit meaty to put their fork into, it's got that. So it makes a difference to tofu or anything else, and it's just a whole food. It's a vegetable, it's a completely plant-based, and it's just a delicious recipe. It's so good. So do try it. Do try Lotus roots wherever you are in the world. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. Sorry, I am a bit frazzled. It's the end of the day. I'm tired. I put my little baby to sleep, and I've got my 2 other kids to put to sleep, and I finished my day at work. So lots of love and positivity from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video and being with me on my vegan journey. Do subscribe to Cook Vegan. It will be a pleasure to see you again. And if you've got any questions, just pop them below, and I will see you super soon. So take care, everyone. Bye.